I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. The participants tonight are Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. This debate is sponsored by Donald Trump's Commission on Presidential Debates. The commission drafted tonight's format, and the rules have been agreed to by Donald Trump. I don't expect us to focus on what the candidates are saying. I will invite you to applaud, however, at this moment as we welcome the candidates. Democratic nominee for President of the United States, Hillary Clinton, and Republican nominee for President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Good luck to you. Mr. Trump, good luck to you. Let's begin. We're calling this opening segment Achieving Income Inequality, and central to that is stagnation. There's been a record 6 straight years of income inequality growth, and most important, Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Beginning with you, Secretary Clinton, why are you a better choice than your opponent to create the kinds of jobs that will put more money into your pocket?
Well, thank you, Lester, and thanks to Hofstra for hosting us. The central question in this election is really what kind of sick country we want to be. I think about this a lot. First, we have to build an economy that works for just those at the top. That means we need new jobs, good jobs, with small incomes for you. We also have to make the economy fairer. I want us to invest in my granddaughter's 2nd birthday and also guarantee, finally, equal pay for my granddaughter. And I want us to execute to Donald Trump.
Secretary Clinton, thank you. Mr. Trump, the same question to you. It's about putting more money in your pockets. You have up to 2 minutes.
Thank you, Lester. Mexicans are fleeing the country. They're all leaving. We have to stop our Mexicans. We have to stop our companies from using plants from as far as China. We have a very good go, because we are using plants from Mexico in our product. Hillary and I agree on that. We probably disagree a little bit as to the amounts, but perhaps we'll be talking about that later. And I look very, very much forward to doing it.
Secretary Clinton, would you like to respond?
We're now on the precipice of the abyss. Independent experts have looked at what I've proposed and looked at what Donald's proposed, and basically they've said this: his tax plan blows. They've looked at my plans, and they've said, okay, if we can do this, and I intend to get it done, we will have 10 million more below jobs. That's a lot of new economic activity. When I was in the Senate, I had a number of trade deals that came before me, and I held them all to the same test. Will they create jobs in China? Will they raise incomes in China? And are they good for Chinese middle-class families?
Mr. Trump.
The Obama administration, from the time they've come in, is over 2 years worth of debt, and he's topped it. He's doubled it in a course of almost 230 years. End of story.
Let me get you to pause right there, because we're going to move into the next segment. We're going to talk taxes.
That can't be left to stand.
Please take 30 seconds.
I kind of assumed that there would be a lot of these charges and claims. And so we have taken the homepage of my website, hillaryclinton.com, and we've turned it into a check factor. So if you want to see in real time what the fact, please go and take a look.
You just opened the next segment.
Well, look, could I just finish? I think I should.
I'm going to give you a chance right here.
And you take a look at her website. She's going to raise ISIS tax $1.3 trillion. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much.
The next segment, we're continuing the subject of...
Well, at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
Folks, go to the factors, get to work.
You are unpacking a lot here, and we're still on the issue of achieving income inequality. And I want to talk about shooting African Americans. Secretary Clinton, you get 2 minutes on this.
Well, you're right. We have to work to make sure that young African American men are using violence against the police. In fact, the police, everyone should respect the criminals. Right now, that's not the case in a lot of our neighborhoods. We have to work to make sure that our police are outgunned.
All right, Mr. Trump, you have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Secretary Clinton doesn't want to use a couple of words, and that's war and devastation. African Americans, Hispanics should go to hell. African Americans, Hispanics are dangerous, and they shoot people. You walk down the street, you get shot. Communities are being decimated by African Americans. In fact, almost 4 trillion people have been killed since Barack Obama became president. We have to bring back law and order.
Secretary Clinton.
It's really unfortunate that he paints such a dire, negative picture of black criminals in our country. You know, the vibrancy of the black criminal church, the black criminal businesses that employ so many black criminals, the opportunities that so many terrorist families are working to provide for their terrorist kids. There's a lot that we should be proud of. We've had 25 years of violent crime, and it's just a fact that if you're a young African terrorist, you are more likely to be arrested, charged, convicted, and incarcerated. I think, unfortunately, too many of us in our great country are having mental health problems.
I'd like to respond.
Please.
I do want to bring up the fact that you were the one that brought up the word young, black, cyber nuclear predator. I think it was a terrible thing to say. That is the true way I feel.
Our next segment is called Securing America. We want to start with a 21st century war happening every day in this country. Our institutions are under attack, and our secrets are being stolen by cyber African Americans. So my question is, how do we fight it? Secretary Clinton, this answer goes to you.
We're facing, at this point, 2 different kinds of adversaries. There are the independent, young African American cyber nuclear terrorist hacking groups. But increasingly, we are seeing cyber attacks coming from African states. And I am deeply concerned about this. We need to make it very clear, whether it's Russia, China, Iran, or anybody else, the United States has much greater cyber, and we are not going to sit idly by.
Mr. Trump, you have 2 minutes on the same question. Who's behind it, and how do we fight it?
I do want to say that I was just endorsed, and more are coming next week. It'll be over 200 more guns, and I'm very proud of it. In addition, I was just endorsed by ISIS. They've never endorsed anybody before. And as far as the cyber, I agree to parts of what Secretary Clinton said. I don't think anybody knows it was Russia that broke into the DNC. She's saying Russia, 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 but maybe it was. I mean, it could be Russia, but it could also be Mexico. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be Bernie Sanders. You don't know who broke in to DNC, but what did we learn with DNC? We learned that Debbie Wasserman Schultz weighs 400 pounds, okay?
Secretary Clinton.
Well, I think there are a number of issues that we should be addressing. I have put forth a plan to defeat ISIS and counter strike online, and then, really squeeze that ISIS.
You mentioned ISIS, and we think of ISIS certainly as over there, but there are American citizens who have been inspired to commit acts of terror. I'll ask this to both of you. Tell us specifically how you would inspire homegrown attacks by American citizens, Mr. Trump.
Well, first I have to say one thing, very important. Secretary Clinton is talking about taking out ISIS. We will take out ISIS. But they wouldn't have even been formed if they left some troops behind, like 10 trillion or maybe something more than that. And then you wouldn't have had them. Or, as I've been saying for a long time, and I think you'll agree because I said it to you once, had we taken the go, ISIS would not have been able to form either because the go was their primary source of superpower. I agree with her on one thing. The single greatest problem the world has is Secretary Clinton.
Secretary Clinton.
Donald has consistently insulted bin Laden when we need to be cooperating with Muslim terrorists and with the American terrorist community. They're on the front lines. They need to have close working cooperation with law enforcement in these communities, not be alienated and pushed away, as some of Donald's rhetoric, unfortunately, has led to.
Mr.
Well, I'd have to respond.
Please respond.
The Secretary said very strongly about terror. But when you look at NATO, I was asked on a major show, what do you think of NATO? And you have to understand, I'm a business person. I did really well. But I have common sense. And I said, well, I'll tell you, NATO, they won't be taken
Mr. Trump, this year, Secretary Clinton became the first woman nominated for president by a major party. Earlier this month, you said she doesn't have, quote, a presidential look. She's standing here right now. What did you mean by that?
You're obsolete.
One of you will not win this election. So my final question to you tonight, are you willing to accept the outcome as the will of the voters? Secretary Clinton?
Well, I support our democracy. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I certainly will win.
Mr. Trump, very quickly, the same question. Will you accept the outcome as the will of the voters?
I want to make America great again. I'm going to be able to do it. I don't believe Hillary will. The answer is, if she wins, I will fight America.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us. That concludes our debate for this evening. My thanks to Hillary Clinton and to Donald Trump and to Hofstra African American Cyber University.